Well, we are going to try this out on my computer for the first time, so I hope the connection's okay. If it's not, someone let me know. Let's just land here by taking a few deep breaths in through the nose and out through the mouth. One more. All right, welcome. I have my dogs and kid locked out. We'll see how long it lasts before someone starts scratching at the door. And those of you who've been watching my live streams, you've probably noticed by now I cannot keep my hands off of my face. It's just impossible. I give up. My hands are always on my face. So yeah, I just wanted to hold some space today to sit and drop into the body. Because there's a way when we're in stressful or intense times, especially if you have tools and you are conscious and you are aware of what's happening in your mind, and you're it's easy to get stuck in this place of analyzing everything and looking for patterns and trying to figure out and solve and fix everything. And it's almost like this little game we play of if I figure this out, then I win, then I get the prize, right? And the prize is experiencing or feeling better in some way. And so we get this pressure to figure it out with our minds. And so we keep analyzing, we keep tracking, we keep figuring out solutions and trying to find the answer or a way to fix ourselves. Hey, Teresa, thanks for joining me live. And so we can get really in our heads, and it can be about basic, normal, everyday life stuff, but it can also be about spiritual and emotional wellness stuff. That was a trap I sort of fell into a couple years ago, realizing I sort of traded regular motherhood anxiety for spiritual wellness anxiety. My mind was still working just as hard all the time to meet some goal that would ultimately give me what I need, right? And so that once I did the thing, then okay, I'm good and I win or I get the prize, whatever. Hey, Brandy. Hey, Myrtle friends. Hey, Mike. So I'm just holding some space for us to drop into our bodies and to get out of that mental loop. You know, it's so easy to take one kind of anxiety and feel like, oh, well, this is a better kind of anxiety because it's about emotional wellness or whatever. Or it's about how to be a good parent, or it's about how to be a calm and peaceful person. But at the same time, you're in your head, you're not in your body, you're not experiencing calm, you're not experiencing peace, you're not present and available to connect with the people in front of you. And so at the end of the day, it's just as disconnecting as regular anxiety. So wherever you are, if you are at home, I'm used to a lot of people watching these live while they're driving, so I don't think we have to worry about that today, though. I don't think anyone is driving anywhere or at work. If you have kids and you need to close the door, do it. If you need to hand them off to someone else, if you're watching the replay and you've scheduled some time for this, good for you. And if you can't get away from your kids, if life is happening all around you, that is fine too. The purpose of this is not to go into some Zen yogi meditation where you leave the world and you transcend into peace and nothing bothers you. That's not even a thing. You have to literally live on a mountaintop to do that. You have to be in isolation. You cannot be a human with family and people who matter, with people that you care about. You cannot be in connection with people and be a Zen Buddhist all the time. It's just not possible. So my work is about helping moms learn how to be in that state of peace, that state of wholeness, that state of safety and just feeling like you can breathe while you're with your family, while you're doing life, without having to escape life, without having to have your kids leave. So if you have the option to lock them out, fucking go for it. Do it. You deserve this space. And if you don't, it's fine. It's not the end of the world. You can still take care of you while life happens. I'm sure at some point I'm going to have a kid climbing onto the back of me. When I told him I needed quiet, he's like, what? I can't go in there? Like, what if I want to give you a hug or a mooch? I'm like, well, you're going to have to like army crawl in here and do it quiet because I don't want you disrupting the other people. So, speaking of, here he is. So, wherever you are, whatever's happening around you, it's all good. It's all perfectly imperfect. And I invite you to close your eyes and place your hands somewhere on your body. So, mine usually, hey, Anne, thanks for joining me. Mine usually go to my heart. They can go to your low belly. They can go to your legs. You can even just take a minute with them on your face. I know we're not supposed to be putting our hands on our faces, but I can't not. You may want them at your throat. You may want to like stroke your own cheek. You may want your hands in your hair. You may want to use them to get your kid away. One of my favorite tips for when you're trying to meditate or drop in and life is distracting you or pulling at you, it could be a kid, an animal, the TV, to just wave hello at it. Sort of welcome it into the space. Say, hello, I see you. And then just come back to what you're feeling. Coming back to the breath. Coming back to the body. Finding your sense of humor and ease and acceptance in it. Back floating, so just leaning back into the body. Surrendering. Letting the collarbone smile as you sort of tuck your chin and lengthen the back of the neck, the back of the spine. Letting your tailbone settle down a bit, your pelvis softening and opening, your legs growing heavy, your belly getting soft. Letting your eyes sort of roll back, that mental eye, the intuitive eye, the part of you that's always tracking and analyzing, putting together all the puzzle pieces. Just wave hello, I see you, I love you. Shh. You get to be quiet right now. You get a break right now. You're doing so good. Thank you for always working so hard to keep me safe, to get my needs met. Thank you, thank you. And it's time for you to rest. I'm just saying that over and over to all the parts of you, to your anxious heart. Hello, I see you, I love you, and right now you get to rest. The clenching parts of you in your belly that want to control, that want life to be logical, that want life to be figure-outable, that want to know how to do it right. Thank you, I see you, I love you. You're working so hard, and right now you get to rest. And allowing yourself to start taking up some space. Just imagining your energy expanding to fill up your whole body. And this can happen as slowly as you need it to. Just slowly moving into the parts of your body that maybe you haven't been inhabiting, like the space between your shoulder blades and the back of your heart, your sacrum, your spine, your pelvis, your legs and belly and heart. You'll notice a lot of us, our energy is in the front of the heart, like very, very close to the front and slightly in front of the body, at the heart, the throat, and the head. So I invite you to bring your energy back and in and out wide, so deeper and wider, like a tree, sinking your roots down, letting them out wide, and then sinking them deeper down into the earth. And feeling the sensation of that in your body. Staying in the body. So when the mind wants to go into story or wants to start thinking or tracking, what's happening in the body? And just feeling it with the body. And you may start to notice pockets of grief or worry or fear. The parts of you that have felt trapped may have an emotional release. They may be feeling relief at you landing back in the body, at giving yourself space. And just letting whatever you are feeling be okay. Inviting it to the table. Hello, I love you. I've missed you. Come in, grief. It's been so long. You're welcome here. Hey there, anger. You're welcome here. Ah, fear. You are welcome here. Come in. Have a seat. What do you need? How can I take care of you? And just noticing what that feels like in your body. You may have answers arise and you may not. Just the act of asking that question, of welcoming these forbidden parts of you back home. Notice how that feels in your body. And when the mind starts to take note of all the distractions, coming back to the breath, back to the body. How can I create more space for me in my body? And just invite that to happen. I am willing to take up more space in my body. I am willing to have more space for me in my life. I am willing to have more space for my emotions in my body, in my experience, in my life. I am willing to take up space. With my chicken and with my mac and cheese. I am big enough to hold everything I'm feeling. And you can imagine yourself growing big enough to contain all of what life holds. The busyness, the stress, the fear, the distractions, the grief, all of it. You are big enough to hold all of it. The joy, the laughter, the pleasure, the power, the ease, the rest. And noticing how that feels in the body. There's room for you and all of it to coexist. And I'm seeing, like, instead of feeling like you need this bubble for yourself where no one else is in it, no feelings, no thoughts, no stress, this bubble where it's only you, instead it's like you're taking up so much space that everything is welcome and everything can be allowed and everything can be exactly as it is, because it's no longer threatening your space. You have become so spacious that nothing can threaten your space. Nothing threatens your wholeness or your ability to feel and be here, because it's no longer you versus them, you versus the people taking your time, you versus the people needing your energy, you versus the distractions, you versus the thoughts and the anxiety or the grief. It's you and it. And that is safe. And that is good. And so just taking a few more breaths here. Sitting with yourself and life, and just seeing, is there anything else that you need? And how can you give that to yourself or create it for yourself? Taking a few soft blinks, you can open your eyes. Welcome back. I hope that you can take action around whatever it is that you're needing today in this moment, and that you do this every day, several times a day when you feel contracted or when life is pressing up against you in the form of deadlines, in the form of stress, worry, anxiety, scarcity thinking, in the form of grief, of not knowing how to process the big feelings of, what's happening in the world and what's starting to touch our families now. Like, I know my family is starting to feel the effects of all of this, not just the quarantine, but like the illnesses and people being in the hospital. And it's scary. It's a lot. And I'm also, dealing with motherhood and co-parenting and running a business. Like, we all have a lot on our plates right now. We have a lot to think about. We have a lot to feel. We have a lot to do. We have a lot of pressure. But that doesn't mean that we have to feel like life is closing in around us. Anytime you start to feel that feeling of pressure, it's an invitation to drop into the body. We kind of want to go to our mind to logically figure something out and find a solution for it. But the way you're going to find peace is by just dropping into the body, breathing, allowing yourself to be here, allowing the chaos and the grief and the pain and the stress and the worry and the children and the animals and the TV and the noise to all be here. And know that it's not a threat to your wholeness. It's not a threat to your ability to exist in a way that feels good. You are allowed to feel good right now too. You don't have to just be in stress and grief. I know I was really struggling with feeling like I'm fucking thriving right now. Like, I feel like I was born for this. This is sort of what I've been preparing for my whole lifetimes, at least the past few years. Like, I feel like this is why I've been doing my work so much, so that now I can hold a different energy for the people who need it. And it took a few days for me to be willing to show up feeling good, to show up any way other than in grief or stress or chaos. And like, I am having those experiences. I woke up this morning to some like really tough news and cried for hours. And like, I'm also having space for me, I'm also enjoying my day. I'm also doing the work I'm passionate about doing. There's a way that we can feel and experience all of this and still live our lives and still have room for us and still create whatever it is that we desire to experience too, in addition to the grief and chaos, right? It's not this or that. Me or the distractions, me or my kid, me or my business, me or my grief. It's me and. It's you and your family, you and your stuff. And so, yeah, I just invite you to lean into that a bit and see if you can create some more space for you within all of it. Sending y'all so much love.